Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with what may be the first of many videos about a brand new game that released a few days ago that I've barely been able to put down. The title and thumbnail will have already told you that I'm talking about Magic the Gathering MANASTRIKE, and the fact that you clicked through and are watching this means that you yourself have at least a passing interest too, which is a great start. I used to play a decent amount of Magic the Gathering with my gaming group when I was in the UK. I started all the way back in secondary school during the original Phyrexian War, but I really got into it around the time of Torment and Judgment. I was never overly great at the game, but I did accidentally build a red-black rush deck when Innistrad and Return to Ravnica was standard that consistently obliterated the top players in my community at the time. Now, my problem with Magic has always been kind of community issues. Out here in Zimbabwe, you can't get the cards, so there's no community at all. In the UK, two of my friends own gaming shops and are pretty badass hardcore Magic players, so the matches can be a little bit too intense for my liking. I was intrigued then when I saw MANASTRIKE. The comparisons to Clash Royale were clear, and I did used to casually dabble in Supercell's mobile giant, but the differences, they're what intrigued me. With it being set in an IP that I know and love, especially with footage and screenshots seeming to strongly reference Innistrad, my favourite setting in the MTG universe, I knew that I had to give this one a go, but would it turn out to be just another Clash Royale clone? A cash grab to capitalise on Clash Royale's already ebbing glory? That's what I wanted to find out and answer for all of you folks. Is Magic the Gathering MANASTRIKE actually worth downloading, installing, and spending time with? Are you going to pour hours of time into this that you'll never get back, or will you actually enjoy the game? Is it heavily pay to win, or does skill rule the roost? Now, as I said, a few seconds into the game and you may be forgiven for thinking that this is just Clash Royale turned sideways. At each end of the arena there are 3 objectives to destroy that fire on encroaching attackers, just like the Princess and King towers. You have a mana bar that gradually fills up over time that you use to summon units and cast spells, just like Elixir. At this point, the only noticeable difference is that MANASTRIKE is played in a landscape mode, whereas Clash Royale is portrait, making it easier to play whilst pretending to text someone. If you type out text messages in landscape mode, you're weird. Don't at me. Then the differences start hitting. Both players are represented by a Planeswalker, an extra card that you can summon onto the battlefield and have access to at all times. In the Magic the Gathering universe, Planeswalkers are powerful beings that can move between the different planes of existence, and can tap into the land to draw mana, the very stuff of Magic. Here, they're powerful fighters, and you can summon other creatures near them, even if they're on your opponent's side of the arena. To top it off, many Planeswalkers have additional effects and abilities that impact the flow of the game, from casting fireballs when they arrive, to giving nearby units attack and speed boosts. Just like in the trading card game, Planeswalkers are tied to 1 or 2 of the 5 colours of mana, and each colour has its own flavour of gameplay. Green is drawn from the forests of the land, and favours beasts, small and numerous, or large and devastating. Green spells are often used to make creatures bigger or more dangerous. White represents order and is drawn from the planes. Humans and angels are a common theme, and White specialises in defending and healing magic, protecting the troops and keeping them alive long enough to deal damage. Blue is drawn from islands and water and is usually known for its trickery and misdirection. Blue creatures tend to be unusual, subtle and enigmatic, and blue spells are usually cantrips of misdirection, confusion or mischief. Red mana is chaotic and fiery and is drawn from the mountains. Goblins, tricksome devils and barbarians are usually red creatures, and red magic specialises in dealing quick damage, like fireballs or lightning strikes, often with elements of randomness involved. Black then is the colour of death and decay, and is drawn from swamps. Zombies, skeletons, demons and other creatures of the night feature prominently. Black spells are often very destructive, but usually at a cost to the caster beyond just the mana used. There are also cards that don't fit comfortably within any of the 5 colours of mana, and are therefore colourless. Clockwork Automata, for example. Decks must be constructed with their Planeswalker in mind. A black Planeswalker like Lillian Vess can only use cards that are either black or colourless, whereas a multicolour Planeswalker, like Domri Rade, can select cards that are colourless, green or red. This further adds a layer of deck building depth that is absent from Clash Royale. Could MANASTRIKE be considered as a more strategic Clash Royale? Well, kind of, I guess, but I personally prefer to think of it more as a midway point between Clash Royale and something like Command & Conquer Rivals. Sure, MANASTRIKE doesn't have the micro-control element present in Rivals, but I do feel it has more going on than Clash Royale does. For some, that extra complexity may be just what they felt Clash Royale was missing. For others, that micromanaging aspect of Rivals may have been just that little bit too much off-putting. MANASTRIKE fills that middle ground quite comfortably. But how does it actually play, and how does the monetization feel? These are the important questions. Well, initially I was disappointed that the game both has booster packs to unlock units and cards, but then also has a leveling system on top of that. Say it with me, like Clash Royale. Then I discovered that each rank has a level cap, just like in CNC Rivals, so you should never be encountering opponents with units considerably higher level than your own. On top of this, the difference between each level is surprisingly minor. Sure, min-maxers will naturally want to max out every card they use for even these minor advantages, but if you lost a match, it's gonna be because you weren't prepared for their strategy or particular cards, not because their Griffin had 1035 health, whereas yours only had 1010. There's a battle pass, of course, and you can buy emotes, booster packs of cards, and the gold that you'd use to upgrade them, but you do also get showered in boosters, cards, and gold fairly heavily just from basic gameplay. Should you join a team, like a clan, then you can request and donate cards, and even use special tokens in a daily team shop to buy specific cards as they cycle. The game feels great to play too. It's fun coming up with new strategies to counter what you're going up against. It's fun to try out the different Planeswalkers and the differences in the colours. Sure, it's great fun playing a chaotic rush deck with Chandra and Alar, but then it's super refreshing to move across into a more defensive and martial white deck under Ajani Goldmane. Honestly, MANASTRIKE has thoroughly gripped me. I've got a few videos already in the works on decks that I'm having fun with and climbing quickly with, so do make sure to subscribe and to ding that bell if you want to see those. I've already set up a team in the game called Cat Skull Cartel too, though it has already filled up, so you'll need to come onto the Gaming Galleon Discord to request space so that I can boot an inactive player to add you. If you're playing MANASTRIKE, let me know how you're finding it and what decks you're using, either in the comments below or on your social media of choice. I love speaking with you folks and getting your opinions on these kind of things. Happy sailing, and see you on the battlefield!